Porsche has spent decades selling one idea: the 911 is the most reliable sports car ever built. Not every 911 got that memo. Inside the lineup sits a bearing so small it fits in your palm, and so catastrophic it has sent engine rebuild bills up to $22,000 to buyers who thought they were getting automotive perfection. 3 generations carry that risk. We're calling them the 6 recall freshman, the $20,000 gamble, and the beautiful time bomb, and the worst one is the generation most buyers are hunting right now. On the other side, 4 911s that actually deliver on the badge, including one called the Teflon car. Almost nobody talks about it, and the data says it's the most reliable 911 Porsche has ever built. By the end, you'll know exactly which 911 to buy and which ones to walk away from, no matter how good the price looks. Worst 3, 2020 Porsche 911 Carrera 992 first model year, the 6 recall freshman. Walk into a showroom in early 2020 and the new 992 generation hits you like a reset button. The silhouette is unmistakably 911, but beneath the skin, everything is re-engineered. A 3.0-liter twin-turbocharged flat 6 producing 443 horsepower, an 8-speed PDK, and an interior that finally felt like it belonged in a $120,000 car. For the first year of ownership, it delivered on every promise Porsche made at the reveal. But here's what happens when you're the first to buy into a new generation. Porsche filed 6 separate NHTSA recalls on the 2020 911 in its debut year alone, 6. The list covers brake system sensor failures, potential fuel leaks at the high-pressure pump, PDK transmission software errors causing unexpected gear engagement, and a passenger airbag detection fault. Each issue individually might be manageable. Together, they describe a launch model that needed another 18 months on the line. J.D. Power scored the 2029 9.2 at 72 out of 100, the lowest a 911 had received in decades. Out-of-warranty brake actuator failures have run up to $4,800 at independent shops. Owners who hit PDK software gremlins after warranty report dealer diagnostic bills, starting at $800 before a single repair begins. One owner commented, "I thought first-year problems were for American brands. 3rd visit to the dealer in 8 months. The fix is straightforward. Skip the 2020 model year entirely. The 2021 and later addressed all 6 recall items and introduced the software refinements that make the 992 the car it was supposed to be from day one." If you're looking at a used 992, specifically the first production run, ask for documentation confirming all recall work was completed, and verify the full TSB history through a Porsche authorized service center before you commit. 992 buyers, first model year or not, what did your first 12 months actually cost? Drop the number below. Worst 2, 1998 to 2004 Porsche 911 Carrera 996 M96 engine, the $20,000 gamble. The 996 arrived in 1998 as Porsche's clean break from 30 years of air cooling, a modern cabin, a water-cooled 3.4-liter flat 6 making 320 horsepower, and a price that made the 911 accessible in a way it hadn't been. For the first 40,000 miles, it felt like Porsche had figured out the transition without losing anything. But here's what the brochure didn't say. The M96 engine carried a single-row intermediate shaft bearing, the IMS, spinning an engine oil that degrades with heat cycles. When it fails, there's no warning light. What owners experience is a metallic tick that escalates to a knock, and by the time that knock is audible, damage to the crankshaft and connecting rods is already catastrophic. Failure rates on the single-row variant have been documented at 10 to 12% by LN Engineering, the specialist firm that has performed thousands of IMS retrofits. It doesn't travel alone. Bore scoring, cylinder wall degradation from cold start oil starvation appears as a companion failure in the same mileage window. What starts as a $12,000 IMS repair converts to a $22,000 full engine rebuild once the cylinders come apart. On a car you may have bought for $20,000, an owner in the Porsche community, I bought it for $21,000. The rebuild cost $18,500. Do the math. The 996 isn't impossible to own safely. Ask for documentation of an IMS retrofit, specifically the LN Engineering dual row bearing replacement, and a clean bore scope of all 6 cylinders. If the seller can't produce both, that hesitation is your answer. Looking at a used 996 from the M96 generation, those 2 documents are the only things worth checking before the test drive. If this is keeping you out of a 5-figure engine rebuild, hit like 3 seconds, and it helps us reach buyers before they sign. Now, the one you really need to hear about. Worst one, 2005 to 2008 Porsche 911 Carrera S 997.1 3.8 liters. The beautiful time bomb. This one might genuinely surprise you. The 997 generation is widely considered the most beautiful 911 Porsche ever built. Round headlights returned after the 996's controversial styling, the wider rear haunches came back, and the overall design restored what the 996 had given up. On paper, you'd have every reason to feel confident. The 997.1 arrived in 2005 with what looked like a clean break from the troubled generation it replaced. And if you'd asked any Porsche buyer in 2006 which 911 was the safe choice, the answer would have been unanimous. The data says something different. Specifically, it keeps pointing at the 3.8-liter engine fitted to the Carrera S. The 3.8-liter flat six in the 997.1S is the most bore-scoring susceptible engine in the modern 911 lineup, a fact documented across tens of thousands of cases by LN Engineering, the specialist firm that has cataloged these failures across the water-cooled era. Bore scoring is cylinder wall degradation, the metal surface the piston rings ride against breaks down under short cold start cycles that don't allow the engine to reach full operating temperature. Owners first notice increased oil consumption, then a faint metallic tick from the rear of the engine that accelerates with RPM. By the time that tick is audible, the cylinder damage has progressed past the point where a hone and re-ring job saves the engine. The bore scoring problem puts sustained stress on the entire oiling circuit. It's not three separate problems, it's one failure that multiplies. Engine rebuilds on the 997.1S bore scoring pattern have reached up to $20,000 at independent shops. At the dealer, add 30 to 40% for a generation that looks like the safest 911 in the lineup from the outside. One owner commented, "Full service history, never tracked it, bore scored at 67,000 miles. The mechanic showed me the cylinders. I still think about that bill." Is it a beautiful car? Completely. Does it drive with a character later turbocharged generations can't fully replicate? Yes. But the question worth asking yourself is this: at what point does a car with this level of documented risk stop being a sports car and start being a lottery ticket you bought at the dealer's desk? The pre-purchase inspection is non-negotiable on any 997.1S, an independent bore scope of all 6 cylinders, not a dealer, a Porsche specialist. A sooty exhaust tip on the driver's side is the most visible warning sign of active bore scoring. If you see it on the test drive, the conversation is already over. The 997.1 base, Carrera's 3.6-liter engine carries significantly less bore scoring risk. If it's the S variant you need, those inspection records are the only thing standing between a great buy and a lesson you'll be paying off for years. 3 traps, 4 answers. Here's what actually lasts. 3 911s, 3 generations, 3 ways Porsche's most trusted badge quietly becomes your most expensive mistake. Knowing what's on that list puts you ahead of 90% of buyers searching listings right now. But this isn't only a warning, because Porsche also got the 911 spectacularly right, in ways the market hasn't fully caught up to yet. The 4 you're about to see are what this car looks like when the engineering team gets everything they asked for and the accountants stay out of it. Mechanics recommend these by generation when nobody's selling anything. Long-term owners run them past 150,000 miles without drama, without major repairs, without the calls to specialists that define the worst section. And the number 1 pick is almost certainly not the generation you'd predict. Let's count up from 4. Best 4, 2001 to 2005 Porsche 911 Turbo, 996 Mezger engine. The loophole legend. Everyone dismisses the 996. For the base Carrera, that dismissal is earned. What it misses entirely is that the 996 Turbo runs a completely different engine, one that shares nothing with the M96 that made the base car notorious. The 996 Turbo uses the Mezger, a dry sump, sandcast aluminum block unit derived directly from Porsche's 962 Le Mans racing engine. No IMS bearing, no bore scoring history of any significance. Porsche built this engine for the racetrack first, where failure carries consequences considerably more serious than a repair bill. The dry sump oiling system maintains oil pressure in hard cornering and sustained high RPM use that would starve a wet sump motor. The sandcast block tolerates heat cycles that sent the M96 to early retirement. Owners running well-maintained examples through 200,000 miles are not exceptional stories in the 996 turbo community. They are routine ones. The wide-body turbo still makes a statement. Drop into the driver's seat and the 3.6-liter twin-turbo flat-six pulls with 415 horsepower from a mid-range that carries no drama and no hesitation. It feels exactly like what it is, a race-derived engine in everyday clothes, hiding in a body the market has already dismissed. The power delivery is immediate, the feel is confident, and the wide-body stance means it commands space and traffic that the narrow-body Carreras simply don't. One long-term owner, 9 years, 140,000 miles, oil changes and tires. That's pretty much it. Some 996 turbo coupes with documented history are still sitting at pre-appreciation prices. A race-derived engine with a 200,000-mile ownership track record. and the market is just starting to notice. The window where this car is still undervalued is closing. 996 Turbo owners, drop your mileage below. Let's see how far these things go. Best 3, 1994 to 1998 Porsche 911 Carrera 993. The last pure one. Most buyers look at 993 pricing, decide the water-cooled alternatives are more rational, and move on. What they're passing over is the only 911 with a permanent production cutoff. The 993 is the last air-cooled 911. When production closed in 1998, the configuration that defined the nameplate for 35 years ended for good. No new ones are coming. Every one of them is already built, and clean examples get harder to find every year. The 993's 3.6-liter air-cooled flat 6 has no IMS bearing, no bore scoring vulnerability. It predates the water cooling transition that introduced both failure modes. Owners on consistent maintenance schedules have documented 150,000 plus miles without engine intervention. A figure that sounds ordinary until you check what 996 and 997.1 owners were reporting at half that distance. What makes it work is 30 years of proof. The engineering is settled, the failure modes are cataloged, and the specialist community knows this engine inside and out. A well-maintained 993 is not a mystery. It's a known quantity. Clean mid-spec Carreras with documented histories trade between $80,000 and $120,000. That sounds high until you consider that documented 993s have held or grown their value, while certain water-cooled generations were losing theirs to repair bills that ran 5 figures. One owner who has been driving his since 2004, "I've spent less on this car in 20 years than most 997 owners spent in one repair visit." Pre-purchase checklist is short. Bore scope the cylinders, underbody rust inspection at the sills and floor pans, oil change records every 5,000 miles or annually. The air-cooled engine lives and dies on consistent lubrication. The 993 that's been maintained isn't a gamble, it's an heirloom. 993 owners, drop your mileage and what it's cost you. Let's see the real numbers. Best 2, 2009 to 2012 Porsche 911 Carrera S 997.2. The Goldilocks 911. The 997.2 arrived in 2009 and quietly did something the modern 911 hadn't managed in over a decade: fixed the known problems without trading away the character. The IMS bearing was gone. Porsche replaced it with a chain-driven intermediate shaft, eliminating the single biggest catastrophic failure risk in the modern 911's history. The bore scoring sensitivity of the 997.1S was addressed through revised cylinder wall coating and updated oil management. Not perfectly eliminated, but reduced to the point where 997.2 real-world failure data looks nothing like the generation it replaced. And critically, the hydraulic steering rack was retained. The 991 that followed removed it. The 997.2 was the last 911 to carry both a corrected engine and analog steering. The 3.8-liter naturally aspirated flat 6, producing 385 horsepower with the 9A1 engine code, is, by community consensus, one of the most durable power plants in the water-cooled lineup. Sit in one and the ownership argument makes itself. The wheel communicates road texture that electric steering 991s simply cannot replicate. The exhaust note builds through the rev range in a way that reminds you what the 911 sounded like before turbochargers became standard equipment. One owner who has been running a 2011 manual S for the past 7 years. "I've been offered more than I paid 3 times. Turned it down each time. I know what I have." Manual transmission 997.2. Carrera S examples regularly transact above their original MSRP. On a used purchase, prioritize documentation over mileage. A 90,000-mile car with full service records beats a 45,000-mile example with gaps. That said, there is one 911 that makes everything we've just said look like the obvious choice, and it's not the one most people would predict. We'll get to it now. Best one, 2017 to 2019 Porsche 911 Carrera S 991.2. The Teflon car. If you'd asked most 911 enthusiasts 5 years ago which generation to buy for long-term reliability, the answers would have included the 993, the 997.2, maybe assorted 996 Turbo, the 991.2 Carrera S, twin-turbocharged PDK, digital dashboard, would not have appeared on most shortlists. The data gives a completely different answer than the enthusiast community does. And the data is more interesting. When Porsche moved the Carrera S to a 3.0-liter twin-turbocharged engine for the 991.2 in 2017, the community reaction was largely skeptical. Forced induction on the base Carrera felt like a compromise, Porsche building to a number on a spec sheet rather than a feeling on a road. What actually happened was that the 9A2 engine architecture corrected every systemic failure pattern accumulated through the 996 and 997 generations. No IMS bearing, no bore scoring history of any significance, no thermal issues from the 997.1's cylinder coating approach. Porsche specialists describe the 9A2 in terms almost never applied to high-performance cars: reliable. There is almost nothing that routinely goes wrong with it. In a decade of real-world ownership across thousands of cars, it has not produced a signature failure mode. That is not common for any performance engine at this output level. That absence of drama is the whole story, and it's the story the 991.2 doesn't get enough credit for. The most exciting 911 to own long-term is the one built around the least dramatic engine narrative in the modern lineup. The ownership data backs it across every measure. The 991.2 retains approximately 83% of its original value after 5 years, one of the strongest depreciation curves in the sports car segment, verified by CarBuzz resale analysis. The 420 horsepower it produces is backed by an architecture with no documented systemic failure mode across its entire production run. Mechanics who specialize in modern 911 service consistently recommend the 9A2 equipped 991.2 without qualification. Not because it's exciting to work on, but because it almost never needs to be. For a buyer wanting a daily driver, a weekend car, and a long-term financial asset in one purchase, the 991.2 Carrera S is the generation where all three criteria converge without compromise. It does not demand specialist knowledge to own safely. It does not carry the documented failure modes that define the generations we covered. The 991.2 Carrera S is the answer 911 ownership should always feel like. Most buyers walk past it looking for something with more provenance, more rawness, more history. That is the mistake. Would you take a 991.2 Carrera S over a 997.2 manual for the long haul? Or does natural aspiration and hydraulic steering pull you somewhere else? Drop your honest take below. Buy with information, not impulse. Avoid the 2029 9.2 first model year unless every recall is documented and confirmed. Avoid the 996 Carrera without an IMS retrofit and clean bore scope. Avoid the 997.1S without independent bore scope confirmation and an oil consumption test. Get the 996 Turbo for race-derived reliability that is increasing in value. The 993 for the last air-cooled 911 with zero IMS and bore scoring risk. The 997.2 for hydraulic steering, natural aspiration, and a fixed engine. And if the data matters most, the 991.2 Carrera S is the one most buyers are still sleeping on. One principle applies across every 911. Service history is worth more than mileage. A high-mileage 911 with complete documentation is a known quantity. A low-mileage car with service gaps is a mystery you're paying someone else to solve. Get the bore scope, check the IMS history. Buy with information, not impulse. This is Tom from Seats and Wheels. Thanks for watching.